So, as promised, I am back and I'm going to talk about these two books here. I read this last year, or was it the year before? Can't remember. And I've just finished this one. One is obviously rather larger than the other, and they're both quite different. So we're going to go through the differences, and then I'm going to recommend which I think personally you should start with. So we're going to start with the Bernard Cornwell book, Stonehenge. I have visited Stonehenge myself twice now, and the most recent are some pictures I'm going to show you now. Funny enough, both times I went, the weather wasn't great. And yeah, it was a pretty cold day, as you can tell. So as you can imagine, when I've been reading these books, I can't visualise the stones themselves from my memory. So I've got 3 bullet points: settings, focus and core. So setting, Neolithic Britain. Focus is the building of Stonehenge. And the core are themes, power, ritual, violence, belief, and of course survival. This imagines Stonehenge not as a mystery, but as a monument born of obsession, blood, and belief. This book takes us into a harsh world of rival tribes, cruelty, and ambition. It is quite harsh and it is raw. There is some spiritual elements to it, but it's quite edgy as well. I do enjoy Bernard Cornwell's writing, and this was no exception. And as I mentioned, there is some spirituality in here as well, because today we feel this was some kind of spiritual monument, praising something or celebrating Mother Earth or the sun or whatever. So there are spiritual aspects of this book, but it's more political, and it actually feels quite dangerous too. There is scenes of aggression and blood, and there is a point in here where they use human skulls to drink out of. I mean, they were savage back then. Now we go on to Ken Follett's Circle of Days. Setting is prehistoric Britain. The focus is more daily lives, relationships, beliefs. This is more of a gentle book. It's reflective and it's really quite human. And I would say the core themes are community, lots of spirituality. There's lots of love in here, affection. There are sexual scenes in here as well, which are, I think, core to the story and the people. And it was really quite done well. Wasn't a sex scene just for the sake of it. There is quite an intimate feel to this book, especially in those scenes. We do have tribe warfare in here as well, but it explores more about the people and how they lived, rather than the main focus being the stones. Now, I listened to Circle of Days as an audiobook at work, and I have some notes I scribbled at work whilst I was listening, so I'm just going to read them to you. And I've just put here, Chapter 6, the first mention of a stone monument. I did feel that, unlike the Bernard Cornwell book, I did feel that the mention of perhaps a stone monument being built did come quite slowly into the book. I know it says chapter 6, but it just felt like it was a long time coming. Oh, I've put here about the clan wars, the farmers and the herders and the flinters all against each other. And I did actually put here as well that I felt there's a lot of names that were sounding very similar, and it was a bit of a struggle at times to wonder who was who and what they were doing. But it did get better over time. And I've put here, one night they have this celebration. I can't remember what it's called, but it's kind of like a mass orgy because they feel that they need to make their gene pool a bit bigger rather than inbreeding all the time, which I think actually gives them some intelligence from back then. So it was just one night and you could pick anyone you wanted and off you go and see if you can make a baby. Oh, I put here, so glad I had the book because I kept checking up on it and I listened to it at 1.45 speed. Otherwise, actually, the narration was too slow even for me. I put Follett is a master storyteller, and that is true. He really is. Both Bernard Cornwell and Ken Follett are both master storytellers, and I enjoy very much both of them and their writing. I put he builds complete worlds in his books. Again, that is true for both. From the characters to the world building to the setting. Stonehenge is real, but the story is an imagining of how and why it was built. I still struggled throughout with the names, but I did get used to it more. But honestly, I did lose who was who throughout. For me, the building of the monument came latish in the book, which I've mentioned, and honestly, I would have liked to have read it earlier. I guess because it was more of a main focus in this book. I was kind of expecting the same, but now I finished both, I'm kind of glad that the two books were different. I think it would be a bit boring if they followed the same path. And I put, having said that, I'm wondering if it was the intention of the author that made the story about the people rather than the stones, and I do think that actually. I do feel that I've talked about this book more than this book. It's the fact that I've already made a video on Stonehenge, and I will link it, the video, in the description. So I would say read this one if you want big historical drama, stark realism, visceral sense of why monuments demanded sacrifice, and this one if you want more atmosphere and emotional connection to prehistoric life and the characters, and an almost meditative, myth-like experience. So the question is, if you want to read both, which one do I suggest you start with? So I think if you've not read prehistoric Britain before, or these types of books, I would definitely say go with the Ken Follett book. It kind of eases you more into prehistoric Britain. And then move on to this book when you want something a bit more darker and a little bit more intense. So together, these two books show how different writers can write prehistoric Britain in different ways. So, which one will you choose? So thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, please do come back for more. Give me a thumbs up, ring that little ding-a-ling bell, because that gives you notifications when I upload amazing videos like this one today. Thanks again, and I will see you very soon. Bye.